Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Now we are virtually moving to Basel, and at the beginning of this session, I'm pleased to introduce our next speaker, Geetanjali Bhat. Geetanjali is a highly motivated project manager and Scrum Master with deep expertise in QA management, Agile, and SDLC methodologies. Today, she is going to present on how to embed quality management process into agile product delivery, particularly within Scrum frameworks, to ensure that products are fit for purpose. Geetanjali, hello, good morning, and welcome. The floor is yours.
Good morning, and thank you, Valida, for this nice introduction. I welcome you all for joining my talk on embedding quality processes in agile product delivery. Just a minute, let me put the slides on the stage. Valida, could you please upload the slides? Here, there is a problem. Uh, Hello, people. Give me a minute. I will just upload the slides and then we can start soon enough. Yeah, so the slides are up. And I welcome everyone for joining my talk on embedding quality processes in agile product delivery. So, why quality processes in agile? Why are we discussing about quality in agile? Well, it is the need of the hour. And over the years, actually, we have been come very far in the journey of agile, doing a lot of continuous deliveries for agile, and also on and off there has been success agile product delivery, but there has been more of challenges, and the challenges are towards quality, and this is exact the reason for where we need to discuss quality processes in agile product deliveries, wherein quality is not just seen as a small testing part of the whole process. So, this reminds me of a small story. And before starting my talk, I would like to share the story of integration of quality and agile. Back in the day, when there was everywhere about talks about agile implementations and also about agile terminologies, whether you go to a conference, whether you meet your ex-colleagues for a coffee, and then you just ask them that which project are you working for, they would just mention that, well, it's agile, but actually no one would know how agile implementations would be, or how the results of agile implementations would look like. And those were the times of, for the so-called transformation times of waterfall to agile. During one such transformation time, I so happened to be a Scrum of Scrum master. That means around 40 people entering transformation stage from waterfall to agile. Well, initially it was quite great. Everyone was excited to be in learning and implementing agile, something new and some different kind of project, and everything was set after the initial training period, and the project implementation started. However, after few sprints, there came the challenges. And the challenge was seen when the customers started not giving not so great feedback. And then the teams, we all were in a lot of pressure in how can we deliver the increments when the quality is weak. So that means that there was lots of defect leakages, defect spillover to next sprint. As a result, this concept, after lots of trials and errors, after lots of research and lots of implementation, embedding quality process in agile product delivery was created and applied in agile. So, what is the foundation of this concept? The foundation basically starts from two main definitions, quality and agile. Quality definition given none other than our father of quality, that is W. Edwards Deming, and he says that quality comes not from inspection but from improvement of the production process. And Agile is given none other than the co founder of Scrum. He says that it is about delivering value to the customer and not just delivering software. So that means till now we are only concentrating on in agile only about speed. And this is why exactly these two definitions are quite a critical factor for this concept, wherein it is about quality and agile, wherein a good QA strategy is well reactive, well proactive, and it is combined as a process within the agile. So going forward, if quality is a whole process, that means it has something that is stored in agile world. So my talk is about what are the techniques that is stored in quality in agile world and how we can apply these techniques in agile world. That's what we are going to discuss about, we are going to understand in my talk. So, giving the recent examples, I have started with some of the research with the recent times as well. And very recent example, if I take during 2021, it was COVID time, and the world was supposed to take vaccines. And at that time, in one such hospital in US, due to a software bug, there was 10,000 duplicates in the vaccine scheduling, and because of which there was like 200 people in the hospital, that is they are the staff. They have to make 10,400 phone calls to fix this issue. That was one of the, just because there was a software bug. And the second one, I'm sure everyone knows about this, that is the very very recent time, that was crowd strike, and Delta had to cancel more than 6,000 flights over a 6-day period, impacting more than 500,000 passengers in 2024. This was all because of inadequate testing strategies, and also because it is seen as speed over quality. In agile, since it is about increment deliveries, so somewhere the quality is being blurred, and while the deployment happens. So, how is our quality driven in Agile framework? Let's see what the research says. Research I have taken from the World Quality Report, and here we have taken like some of the parameters that is quite important for quality, and that's exactly like test environment, or it could be test automation. And if we see the comparison from 2016 and 2019, I have not taken the consecutive years because it's almost we are there and there is not much of changes. So 2016, it is 40% if you take most of the parameters, and even 2019 there could be a little bit more changes, but then it is still not on the improvement side. The So based on this report, I have taken one of the parameter and expanded it for 2022, which is lack of professional test expertise in, if I see the chart over here, now organizations, they claim that we have professional test expertise. This chart really looks good. If you see that more than 30% of the organizations, they do have professional quality engineers, from 26% to 35%, or 16% of organizations, they have more than 45% of quality engineers. But if there is such good a percentage of quality engineers, why are we facing quality challenges then? So let's see what is the reason. The reason is that somewhere there is a clear trend of quality engineers going towards development side. The skills are more towards development side. If you see this chart here, most of the quality engineering, they need to have skills, that is maybe Python, or all of these development skills, and that means they are expected to uh, implement the sprint development activities, wherein the quality is little bit gone a little bit behind. So here, even though the quality expertise are there in the organizations at a quite a good level, however, they have trend is towards development activities. And that's the reason here we have to find out where is the problem. The problem is, do we have a quality process? And that is what is the missing factor. We might have professional test expertise, we may have all the most of the cross functional teams, but then do we have a quality process? And this quality process, why is it that we do not have? Most of, if I take an example like this, what happens is we are so busy in ensuring the delivery of increments that these the easier paths that is laid out in front of us, we may just miss it because we are focused on the deadlines of increment. But actually there may be a better path, that wherein we will get a good quality and also can be completed at a correct time. So that means here, as the example says, that time never looks sufficient because we are so much focused on just delivering, but we are too busy to improve it. So that's the reason we have ensured to bring quality assurance structure on board. What is this quality assurance structure? It is all in terms of a QA terminology, in terms of QA aspect, that is a QA team involvement from the beginning. Or you have exploratory testing, or you have ensuring to define quality objectives, or you have the definition of done. I will be explaining all this in next slides. And all the techniques of QA process that we need to bring on board. Till now, agile implementation is all about just about completing the increment in the form of deploying or in the form of delivery. But and testing is just a tiny part in that. But no one speaks about quality assurance structure on board. And that's the reason we should bring in, so that it is complete in all the sense, whether it is development, QA, or in the terms of the client's requirements, and so on and so forth. So first and foremost, what are these techniques? So defining techniques, which I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, it starts from here. That is building time. We usually, we in the beginning, we don't take that much time to understand that, in what is our right method to build this product, to build this increment. So we just start off the requirements, and then we start, yeah, testing is there, so we'll be testing. However, it's quite important to understand, to learn the increment, to learn the requirement, and that happens only initially. That means in the form of exploratory testing, maybe, right? So the best way to build the right product, that is only through building time. That is the first technique. So, why is it that we need this technique? Why? The most importantly, suppose, for example, if I take quality insights for a quality book, if I want a good quality book, so then everyone would have different requirements, maybe a good quality page, a good quality content, or a cover page. But then in on the whole, I need everything to be in one book. That means, is it not about the whole process? Same way is for our agile in terms of quality. It's not just about testing, but the whole process that has to be covered when we are delivering the increment. So that means what has to be taken into consideration is our quality sprint. Sprint, we always have heard about, delivering the increment. Of course, that is right. But no one has discussed about how our sprint should be. That is, what levels of quality it should have. That means our results, it has to be shown in done criteria. We do have a list in the done criteria that is about featuring these are the requirements for this sprint, or it could be that this small testing should be done or for this requirement, or how much more dependent requirements are there or something like that. But there is nothing about QA as whole. And that's what is our needs that has to be done in the done criteria. Why is that so is, for example, if I take here, there is an example of a scrum master behind the maybe a developer or a QA or a cross-functional team, and they are compiling the requirement and it is being done. They are saying that it is, has to be tested and developed, deployed, or there is a small bug maybe. So from the terminology of the development or the agile team, it is almost done, and then it has to be configured and it has gone to the customer. It works within the development team, but does it work with the customer? It does not work. So this is an example wherein the done criteria, some of the list is missing. If there maybe in this case it is about the test environment that has been missing. So if there was a criteria in the done criteria, that these are the requirements, so before deploying there can be that it could be checked properly. It could have not been that we would have gone and had a bug after deploying. So that's the reason our done criteria should have quality goals. That means quality goals should be imbibed in definition of done. So most of the agile organization have definitely have the goals that has been defined, because it should be that in this sprint, this requirements, it should be in a particular method maybe, or how many people in this cross-functional team, all that is there. But then the definition of done is still missing with the quality of goal, because testing is just a small activity. However, quality is such a way that it should be in the within the whole team, and that's the reason definition of done should have the quality of goals. So why is it that we should have all these techniques? Mainly because there should be a process which is a need of the whole team, wherein each and every person understands what quality is. So quality goals, quality persistent, quality time, this forms a quality process. So what would happen with that is, quality goals, if it is there in the definition of done, what would happen is the whole team would understand that okay, if I am developing a code, that means I should be ensuring that the code is of good quality. If I am maybe just writing a requirement as a product owner, then there that also should be of a good quality, wherein my team can understand that requirement. That means in each and every role quality should come into picture, and that's what mentions about quality goals, quality persistence, and quality time. So What are the quality process goals that we have added over here is to formalize well-defined test strategy. As I mentioned about some of the examples of the real world examples that we have occurred, that is of maybe the CrowdStrike or maybe the software bug in vaccine, what has happened there? There is inadequate test strategy, and that's what our goals should have well-defined test strategy. We should hit the zero bug bounce as early as possible, wherein the developers will fix the bugs whatever the testers has raised as early as possible, so that we don't end up spilling it to next sprint. It should be fixed on the space same sprint, or else aiming for zero defect concepts. This concept is given by Philip Crosby, wherein he says that exhaustive testing is impossible. We all know that. However, it is quite important to aim for zero defects, and that should be included in our goal. Same way as well tested features by agile teams, implementation of end to end testing. We usually miss the end to end testing because we end up having maybe there are other defects to be fixed, maybe there are defects spillover maybe, and then we just skip the end to end testing because of the time that we don't have. And this is quite important that we should have, so that we don't have a defect that is leaking after the deployment. And so that's the reason we should have sprint plan that covers test plan as well. And till now, sprint plan is just about how many features are to be completed, wherein it is by default considered as features that are completed means it is deployed and tested. However, there is no segregation of testing, wherein what to test or who to test also would be there definitely, but how can we test it, that no one mentions in the sprint plan maybe, or when is the right time. There can be integration testing, so is it mentioned in the sprint plan? It may not be there. So every sprint should cover integration testing, or our done criteria. Are we including all the levels of testing in done criteria? Are we having test automation scripts? All these things should be included in test sprint. What is the reason behind this is the whole team are in the same space as like QA to understand that, okay, these are the things that should be covered in the sprint plan. So that's the reason we should include these test plan in sprint plan. So now we see that how we are applying these techniques. Now here the techniques are like how we divide the test cycles. So the test cycles 1, 2, 3, as in more you can have, but basically at least minimum we must have 3 test cycles within each sprint. And this within each sprint, why? Because so that we do frequent testing and early testing. That's a very important aspect in a quality part for delivering the increment. So it is being divided into 3 test cycles, and how we do that. So if you see here, each and every test cycle is quite different from the other. Why? Maybe there can be regression testing, but other than that everything is different. So why is that so? Because for example, if I say here exploratory testing, it can only and only be in test cycle 1, because it is the initial time period that you take it. You cannot have an exploratory testing in test cycle 3 maybe, right? And you should have an integrated features testing. Maybe that previous sprint you might have the features which is dependent on the current sprint. So you definitely should have integrated features testing in test cycle 1, and all the new features till the mid sprint. Same way is test cycle 2, wherein you have an automation testing for regression testing. And then you have also new feature, because you would have not completed all the features in the sprint, right? Or you, and the parallel negative scenario testing. This happens only in test cycle 2. Same way, test cycle 3 is quite different. So end to end, each and every sprint should cover end to end testing. And then automation and bug bash testing also should be there. So this is at every sprint we should cover these types of tests, these cycles of testing. So as I mentioned that before also, that this is through lots of trials and lots of implementations and lots of research, we have achieved this success factor. I'm sure that if you all are implementing this, you all also can achieve this. Some of them you all might be achieving, but it is very difficult to achieve all of them, and which we can achieve this through this. That is balance between automation and manual test is derived. I think this most of them can achieve. Or reduced cost of quality. This is an important factor for quality. Or improved customer experience or nil defect surprises, and so on and so forth. But the important part over here is uh, increased QA efficiency. This is very less have I seen that we can have this QA efficiency, and which we can achieve it through this process, because we are covering a whole lot of QA test strategy over here, and that's the reason we can achieve QA efficiency over here. So, what is it that we have added? Everyone knows about this process, maybe, wherein it is of a Scrum process or an Agile process, wherein you have an impact assessment or a test plan or a release readiness or test agility. This is without the quality process. Now, with the quality process, we have changed some things, and here we have imbibed a quality culture. We have test driven development, we have shift left testing or continuous integration pillars of quality testing, wherein everything in aspect of quality we have added for a particular increment or a sprint or an agile life cycle. So when I see, after even now, where I have started many years back, have it, but then when I see now also going as per the examples that we discussed, we see that our quality current level is at a little bit lower level, and we are supposed to achieve it at a desired at a one level. So for that, we can align it, we can gap have this as a roadmap. So the key steps to bridge the gap is through this particular process. So, what are the technique transformations that we have done here? So, we have had a quality expert, or quality ambassador, maybe, or a quality master. It is very important to have that. Or a quality culture initiation, also, wherein each and every person playing their role should have the mindset of a quality person, so that whatever maybe developing a code, they do it with a good quality level. And then definition of done, we have updated, we have changed it, adding quality part as well. That is, it's like a strategy that has been added in definition of done. So at the end, quality quest, in the end, we have faced lots of challenges that cannot be ignored or pushed for next sprint or at the end sprint, right? It has to be overcome through resolving it continuously within the sprint. Why is that so? Because a strategy and a process, it is equally important. If even though agile mentions about continuously working, of course, but then it is also important that strategy and process is quite important. Setting up a process interprets in what manner we test, ensuring test it is in all levels in each and every sprint. So finally, the outcome of my story, which I began, okay, it is that what we have to actually change over here is, I have made a small change over here, is working continuously is quite fine, but working continuously towards improvements is also quite important. And this comes from a very important statement given by Henry, and he is an agile trainer and an author. He says that the important thing is not about your process. The important thing is your process for improving your process. So, after the whole lot of challenges and whole lot of changes happening, so the outcome was that we have come to a conclusion wherein we must work continuously towards improvement. So now I would open the floor for the questions.
Thank you so much for this great presentation.
Thank you.
There are a few questions. I will ask my colleague Jacques to show them up. There is the
Yeah.
first one. What is the zero bug bounce?
Yes, sure. Thank you. So zero bug bounce is wherein the bugs that has been raised by the testers, the developers are supposed to fix it in the same sprint as early as possible, so that it is not pushed in the next sprint. And the testers, their rate of bugs is quite less than the developers fixing those defects. So that means the bugs are not bounced back in your next and next sprints, and it should be fixed as early as possible and well, properly. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Another question from another attendee. What is the zero defect concept?
Okay, so the zero defect concept is given by Philip Crosby, who has mentioned that in his book, actually, Quality is Free. Who has mentioned that we always must aim for zero bugs. It is difficult to achieve it because exhaustive testing is impossible. However, aiming is one of an important goal that we must have it in our criteria.
Thank you for this answer.
Yeah.
And I think this is the last question that I see. Can these quality processes be incorporated in any other agile methodologies?
Yes, this talk I have given on the basis of Scrum framework. We definitely can apply this process because quality is same for in any way in any platforms. So that means that we can apply it for other agile frameworks as well, like Kanban or any other process as well. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So there are no more questions. There are many comments. Thank you and a great presentation.
Thank you.
I have no further questions. If you have some final words, please use this time. And otherwise, thank you so much for this great presentation. And for all others who are listening to us, stay tuned for the next session. And please do not forget to vote for your best speaker and presentation at A4Q website. Geetanjali,
Yeah.
your final words.
Yes, thank you. I'm very thrilled to be a part of A4Q Testing Summit, and equally, I really enjoyed giving this talk. It is definitely my pleasure, and I'll be looking forward for if anyone would love to connect with me discussing about this topic. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Pleasure was all ours. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.